Hey everybody, what's going on? Goofy Rexy here. Hope everybody is doing well and wanted to make this video. I was supposed to make this last week, but of course due to the surgery wasn't able to do so. And I didn't have the time to do the previous week here, but didn't want to kind of delay this any longer here. I wanted to talk about the Bionic Avenger team, and I'm going to talk about a couple of things here today, right? So best T4s, we're going to talk about ISO 8. So my ISO 8s are a little bit different than probably some of the other CCs, and I'm going to talk about the reason why I think mine are probably going to be a little bit more friendly if you don't have the stars and yellow stars and the red stars on the characters. I'm going to talk about that here in this video as well. I'm also talking about red star priorities, right? Like who should you try to rank up when it comes to red stars first? And I'm also going to talk about placements too, right? So what's the best placement for the team? Tana already talked about that you put Whole Buster on the right, but I'm also going to talk about some of positioning for some of the other characters as well, just to make sure that you're getting the benefit of the ability energy for this team. Also, before I dive into the video, thank you guys so much for the support over the past week or so. I know some of you guys have reached out to me and said, hey, hope you're doing well, recovering from the surgery. Like I said, I'm doing okay. It's okay for me to stand up, which I'm currently doing momentarily right now to make this video. Not great sitting down though, so not for too long unless I'm reclining. So, but we're making the best out of the situation, but we're getting better, and that's the most important thing for me. But let's actually dive into it and talk about the team, right? Bionic Avengers. So let's talk about T4s, I guess. Let's dive through that because you can get through those pretty quickly. So in terms of T4s, when you're looking at Iron Man, I think you really only need one T4 arm. I think if you're looking at essential T4s, only one is essential, and it's his passive ability here. So that's because you're going to get the extra 15% crit chance, the extra 20% crit damage. You're giving that to himself and also the Bionic Avenger team. It's such an important T4 for the overall, just pure damage for the overall team. So in my opinion, for Iron Man, I would definitely say that that's the only necessary essential T4. Now, his ultimate is very nice because you're getting the extra 100% damage. And whenever he crits with this ultimate, now granted, I have a 7 and 5 Iron Man, so that's a little bit different than maybe, I don't know where your red stars are for Iron Man, but I've seen my Iron Man hit for 1.2 million with that ultimate ability. So it's very nice. Very, very, very nice. When he does that, I can use that to delete a character completely. So therefore, I like the ultimate on him for the extra 100% damage there, just raw damage overall. So yes, I would say if you got some spare T4s that you can throw on, ultimate would be nice. Special, I would skip this one. I don't think you need it. Yes, it does prolong all negative effects on the enemy characters. I'm not in a situation where I'm seeing that you need more than 3 random negative effects to be extended. So I don't think that you need this T4 in my opinion. If I'm wrong, let me know, but I've not seen that so far where that has been a major factor. So therefore I haven't seen a need for it. Yes, you could also make a case for the extra 50% damage because it's an AoE, and it's also good if he crits, it can do additional damage. Yes, sure, but if you're looking to save T4s, I think it's not an essential one. You can probably just skip that one. Basic, similar boat, just extra damage. I think you can skip that one as well. Now, if we're looking at Vision, this one is very simple. You have to do all 3 of them, all in terms of his passive, his ultimate ability, and then also his special. His special and his ultimate, you're not going to be able to get him to generate ability energy unless you do those 2. So therefore, that's a no-brainer. Passive ability gives immunity for 2 turns to the team in raids on spawn. So that makes a lot of sense to do that one as well. And then basic ability is additional damage, and he's able to chain to 2 additional targets. Just additional damage and change to additional targets. I don't think you need this one. You're not really using Vision for damage. You're using Vision for control. So I don't think that you really need the extra damage and additional. Well, then again, the additional adjacent enemies, he will be able to apply offense down to them. So maybe that could be valuable. But I do think that that's a luxury T4, not an essential T4 in my opinion. All right, for Vision, I did her basic, her ultimate, and her passive. Originally, I did her basic because I did have Striker on her as an ISO before. I do think that it's actually still quite helpful though, even without the basic being Striker. But the passive ability I did because you're getting the additional armor. I think it's like 30% armor that she's given, additional armor that she's given to the Bionic Avenger team, just gives them more survivability. And then ultimate ability here, if I'm remembering this right, it goes from only flipping 2 negative effects on her team to all negative effects, flip 2 negative effects for all allies. yeah, flip all negative effects to positive effects for self and all Bionic Avenger allies. So pretty important T4 for the cleanse. So definitely that's a good one. Special, you can skip, it's just additional damage. And then the basic, the reason why I did this one is because this one in raids, you're gonna get the assist from vision, and the assist from vision will also give the primary target offense down. So it's actually kind of a nice one, and of course additional damage too, right? So therefore I did like her basic. So that's the reason why I did T4 that. It's not an essential one though. You could probably skip it and just do the ultimate and then the passive first, and then come back around to that later on. Deathlock, all T4s. I think every single one of them are good. I think if you're like, yo, like I don't want to do all of them, like which ones do I absolutely want to do right now? I think you definitely want to do is passive. The passive is an extra 100% damage to the most injured enemy. This is the outer turn damage. So whenever he gets to max charge, I think it's what, 5 max charges here, he will attack the most injured enemy. Previously, before it was 200% damage. Now it's 300% damage. I just think that the outer turn damage from him is really helpful. He also is a big damage, probably your second biggest damage dealer on the team. So I think that that's a good T4 to throw on him as well. So I would definitely go in the route of doing the passive. I think special is also probably one of the most important T4s on the entire team, because his special ability, he's going to apply offense up for 2 turns to all Bionic Avenger allies. So the extra offense up, the extra crit damage from the team, it just gives you an opportunity to be able to kind of mow them down before they can kind of get to you, right? That's really kind of the ultimate goal here, is to try to mow them down as quickly as possible while building a little bit of sustain as well. So I think the special is really important for that. Ultimate, I also do like as well. You got to T4 it also to be able to get to the ultimate. You have to T4 it in order to be able to get him to generate the ability energy. But also you're getting an additional 100% damage to the primary and the adjacents. That is also big. He's already applying the ability block anyway, so I think you're fine there. And then basic ability, this is a long one, right? This is the one where in raids, if he's at, I think it's like if he's at full energy, then yeah, this is it right here. In raids, if this character has full energy and crits on any of these attacks, so he does 3 bonus attacks on top of his basic attack here, that he's going to generate 1 ability energy for up to 2 random Bionic Avenger allies. So this could be very useful in a few different nodes here. So you definitely do want to take advantage of that. So I think all of his T4s are very good. Special and passive are probably the most important, special being probably the second most important T4 on the team. But yeah, I think all of them are pretty good. And then Hope Buster, I think, yeah, all of these are good too. So passive abilities, given the team increased max health, you need that in raids, absolutely essential. Ultimate ability and special gives the team additional barrier, and the additional barrier is very important for the survivability of the team. They do not survive very well without that additional barrier. Just they don't survive very well without Hope Buster, right? So yes, a very essential T4. I hate how he's being released into the game because he's such an essential character. It's not just affecting just raids, right? It's also affecting Death Scourge. So I really hope that they do make some changes here in regards to how he's being released. But yeah, Hope Buster, I think all 3 of these are very good. Basic ability, I think you can skip it. And we can kind of go from there. In terms of ISO 8, so ISO 8s really quickly, I think it's a lock, no pun intended. I think it's a lock to throw Raider and Deathlock as Raiders, right? They're the 2 biggest damage dealers on your team. I think you definitely want to make sure that they have Raider. They have the highest damage potential. So throwing Raider on them with the extra crit chance, crit damage, you're definitely going to want to be able to take advantage of that. Vision, I kind of defaulted him to a Raider because I didn't really think there was anything else that was necessary to throw on him. Now, Skirmisher, you can make a case for because yes, the increased focus is necessary. I am not running into issues right now with this focus. I'm fine there. So I think it's more of a, let me take advantage of the Raider, the crit chance that he gets from Iron Man, and the offense up that he's getting from Deathlock. I'd rather take advantage of that. So that's the reason why I've left Raider on Vision. But you could make a case that maybe making him a striker and then Vision a skirmisher to be able to get the triple tap could be helpful. Yeah, you could definitely do that. I think though, at that point in time, maybe you're overthinking it, and I think this Raider is probably fine. If you're running into if you're running into issues where your focus is a problem because maybe you have lower stars on the characters, that's an important thing to mention as well. Maybe you only have 3 red stars on Vision or 4 red stars on Vision, and you're Doom 3. Skirmisher probably might be better than to go just to make sure that he's landing those negative effects. I went with Healer on Vision. Originally, I actually had Striker on her because whenever she did her bonus attack with Striker, she would give the most injured ally deflect. So that was actually my original ISO on her. But being that I have kind of low stars on Deathlock for Doom 3, the difficulty that we're doing, I kind of have low stars on him. Deathlock is very squishy. I needed the team to survive a little bit more. So Vision, she's healing them whenever they generate ability energy. So that's important, right? But also now whenever she takes a turn, she's given regen, she's given the active healing. It helps the team to survive a little bit more. So currently right now, I have Healer on Viv because that is helping to sustain the team a little bit better. I thought about doing it with Hulkbuster. Hulkbuster though is pretty slow. And I wanted the heals to come out to kind of happen a little bit faster. Although his health pool eventually will be a little bit better. 85 speed is a little bit of a deterrent for me to be able to actually get some solid enough healing. Vision is 107. It's a little bit faster, a lot faster actually when you think about it. So therefore I wanted to take advantage of that, and it actually is improved the quality of my nodes right now by having Healer on Viv to be able to keep the team alive. So I've actually been getting a lot of solid benefit ever since I've switched over to Healer. I have found that I've been surviving a lot more in these nodes. My Deathlock used to get clapped on that boss node. Now he's actually able to kind of withhold or withstand some of those additional hits there. So therefore I'm sticking with Healer on Vision for the time being, unless of course maybe if I get Deathlock to 5 stars, then I can get him his 5th red star. Maybe I'll switch it then, but for right now, Healer definitely works. Who else we have now? Hulkbuster. So I have Striker on Hulkbuster. The reason why is mainly because of the shield, right? So with this bonus attack on his basic, which I'm going to go up to right here, his bonus attack on his basic, if this character has 25% barrier gain defense up for 2 turns, in raids, barrier yourself and our allies for 5% of this character's max health. So whenever he does this bonus attack, or by the way, counter attack too, because he does a counter attack with Iron Man, right? Whenever he does this, he's giving the team additional barrier, right? And if they have barrier, then he can give. So he can give the deflect. He can also give defense up for 2 turns, right? So for me personally, I like Striker on him. His Striker bonus attack is just, I think, is really good. I think it's really good. There's a lot of solid benefit that you're going to get from it here. The barrier, the defense up, the deflects. Keep in mind that if this character is 25% or more barrier, then he'll gain offense up. If this character has 50% or more barrier, then he'll gain the flex. He's only giving this to himself. He's given the 5% barrier to all allies. So I definitely like Striker on him a little bit better. And being that he's in a taunt quite often, I also like having defense up on him and the 2 deflects on him as well, in my opinion too. So I would definitely say that Striker is probably the better ISO to throw on Hulkbuster here. Now, in terms of red star priorities, what I would do, I would say that the two standouts for red star priorities are Deathlock and Iron Man. Those are the 2 biggest damage dealers on your team. You want them to do basically the nodes essentially goes Vision is the control, right? Vision is the control. Vision is additional sustain and cleanse. Hulkbuster is your shield and additional max health, and then Deathlock and Iron Man are your burst damage characters, right? So therefore, you really want to prioritize getting high red stars on Deathlock and Iron Man. If I were to pick a 3rd character in terms of priority, I would say it's probably Hulkbuster. You definitely want to have a high health pool on Hulkbuster, which once again burns me that they're doing this right now with this event. I think Hulkbuster, in my opinion, will probably be the next character that I would go with to get high red stars on. I think that you want him to be tanky. The more health he has, the better the barrier. A lot of really good things that you can do there with Hulkbuster. So my personal opinion, I would say that in terms of priorities, I would say it's probably I would even say it's probably Deathlock, Iron Man, Hulkbuster, and then Vision and Vision. You can kind of go in that direction. Now, in terms of placements, best placement that I've found so far has been, and I've tried a few different variations. So number one, there's the funky thing that's going on with Vision and Hulkbuster's passive. So you want to have Hulkbuster all the way to the right here to make sure that whenever they get below 50% or he gets below 50%, that his passive is proccing first. In terms of the reason why I have Vision next to him is because whenever Hulkbuster taunts, there could be adjacent hits. Vision can dodge, so that could be helpful for me there to be able to stop some of those chain attacks and then be able to chain over to like Deathlock or something like that, right? I put Deathlock in the middle here because I want him smushed in the middle of Vision and Iron Man because they give adjacent ability energy, and I want Deathlock to get fed ability energy often so that I can use a special to give them offense up. So that's the reason why I have him kind of smack dab in the middle here. That's the reason why he's there. So I think so far this has probably been the best placement for this team. Is the most success that I've had so far using this team in all game modes, not just raids. So that's the direction that I would go in here. Apart from that, I think that's essentially it. The thing else I can probably talk about here, let me know if you have any questions about anything, right? Forgive my voice is kind of going as well. I've been a little bit under the weather while also recovering from surgery. But listen, appreciate you guys watching the video. Let me know if you have any questions about anything or if you have any comments about anything as well. We'd love to be able to hear your thoughts on what are you doing with your team right now? Where your stars are red stars? What are you considering doing in terms of variation for ISOs? Those are always interesting conversations to have. But listen, appreciate you guys watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And until next time, guys, y'all be blessed. Y'all be safe.